everyone. This is your Mars Hill Latin 3 video for March 22nd, or no, 23rd, March 23rd. It'll be a short video. I'm just going to review a little bit about your indicative and subjunctive moods, and we'll talk a little bit about that grammar. Some of it's already reviewed from 2 or 3 weeks ago, and some of it is new. So you'll remember that the indicative mood is the mood that is used for actual events. For example, my children go to school. And the subjunctive mood is used for either imaginary or potential existing things. So I want my children to go to school. That would be subjunctive. So the main distinguishing thing between the indicative and the subjunctive, again, indicative describes actual events, and subjunctive describes things that are either potential or in some other way not real. Okay, so other examples, activities that are wished for, imagined, intended, hypothetical, contrary to fact, or conditional. Those are some examples of things that would be in the subjunctive mood in Latin. And just as a review, there are 3 moods in Latin. They are indicative, like we said, real things, subjunctive, so potential or unreal things, and imperative, which is for commands, as you already know. Also remember that in the indicative mood, there are 6 tenses in Latin: the present system and the perfect system, so present, imperfect, and future, and perfect, pluperfect, and future perfect. However, in the subjunctive mood, there are only 4 tenses, and the 4 tenses remaining are all the ones except the future ones. So future and future perfect are not in the subjunctive mood. Okay? So you have a little bit less to memorize. Now, a lot of uses of the subjunctive are in subordinate clauses, as we talked about on last class. But a few of them are in independent clauses. So one of them that we learned last time was the hortatory subjunctive. And you'll remember that hortor means to encourage. So the hortatory mood is essentially, or the hortatory use of the subjunctive mood is for strong, very, very strong wishes or commands. So examples: oremus, let us pray; vincas, may you overcome; veniat, let him come. Things like that. Those are the use of the subjunctive that is called hortatory. And the way you express those hortatory subjunctives is just to put your verb in the subjunctive mood. We talked about the way to form the present subjunctive active last week. And you'll remember that that was to take your second principal part of your verb, which is your present active infinitive, and you're going to cut off your re, right, your ending. So for ama, that leaves you with ama. Now, you are going to change your a, which is your first conjugation vowel in the indicative. You change that a to an e for the first conjugation. So you have stem, plus e, which is the subjunctive sign, plus your personal ending. So for the active, again, that's o or im, and then st, mus, tis, nt, right? So you get amem, ames, amet, amemus, ametis, ament. And that's similar for the other conjugation, the second, third, and fourth conjugations, except that you're going to change your vowel depending on the conjugation. So a in the first conjugation is replaced with e, okay? Amem. In the second conjugation, you change from e to ea, okay? So that changes moneo to moneam, okay? In the third, we change to an a, so rego changes to regam. And the fourth, changes, and as well as the third IO, changes to IA. So from from audio, we get audiam. So in short, the new vowels for the subjunctive mood in the present are E, EA, A, IA. And this is all review from last week, so you already know this, but I just wanted to have it on video in case you forgot it. Okay, so we've learned the present subjunctive active. This week we are adding the present subjunctive passive. Okay, so there's nothing too complicated here. The only thing we're going to change is we're going to use the passive personal endings rather than the active personal endings. So you take your second principal part, for example, amo, you take amare, right? And you cut off your re, change your a in ama, you change that a to e, ame, okay? And then you add your personal passive ending. So ristur, mur, mini, untur. So we get amer, ameris, ametur, amemur, amemini, amentur. Okay? The same thing goes for monear, right? Regar, capiar, and audiar. And that's you'll have that in your lesson for the week that I'll send out. Okay, so simple enough. You just change your active personal endings for your passive personal endings. Now, another note on this lesson is that to form negative of subjunctive verbs, you use ne. This is just a two-letter word, ne, and you just add those. So, kedamus means let us yield. If you wanted to say let us not yield, rather than using non, which you would with a indicative word, you use ne, ne. So ne kedamus means let us not yield. Okay, let's see. Another use of the subjunctive, so we've talked about the hortatory, which is for strong wishes. We're adding this week another one called the deliberative subjunctive, which is used for questions asked in doubt or indignation about a course of action. You would use helping verbs in English like should. Okay, so their example is quid faciam. That means what should I do? Because quid is what, right? So quid faciam, what should I do? Or what am I to do? Another example, fugiamus. Should we flee? Or fugiat. Should he flee? So those are uses of the deliberative subjunctive. Here's another thing, some uses of the hortatory subjunctive that you have already heard, or you may have already heard, depending on which ones. I know you've known this one, sanctificator nomen tuum. And you'll notice that that's from the Lord's Prayer, hallowed be thy name, right? So sanctificator is the third person singular present passive subjunctive. So now you know that verb form. Sanctificator. May your name be hallowed. Right? Hallowed be thy name. Another one. Adveniat regnum tuum. That one is let thy kingdom come. Now, adveniat, again, is third person singular, this time present active subjunctive. But here's another use of your subjunctive. Another one. Fiat voluntas tua. Let thy will be done. Let your will be done. Fiat, again, third person singular, present, active, subjunctive. Another one you may or may not have heard is gaudeamus igitur, which is let us rejoice, therefore. So the gaudeamus is let us rejoice. That's first person, plural, present, active, subjunctive. Another one, venite adoremus. Oh, come, let us adore him. Venite is in your imperative, and or adoremus is your first person, plural, present, active, subjunctive. And a final one, oremus, let us pray. That's your first person plural, present, active, subjunctive. So that's about all the grammar this week that we're adding. You will have vocab to memorize, and you have to memorize your new present, subjunctive, passive conjugations. And you'll have a quiz and homework over that I'll be sending out more info about shortly. Thank you.